Welcome back, Tribe. I have a piece here from that podcast with Sadia, Psychology of Slut Shaming.
You come to reflect on about the psychology of slut shaming?
It's a way of validating poor decision making. So when we use the word you're slut shaming, what we're really saying is stop pointing out the flaws in my flawed behavior. Essentially, we need a society filled with guilt, shame, and regret. We need to be aware of these emotions. If we remove shame from our society and we call it fat shaming, slut shaming, essentially we find a way of normalizing what is abnormal behavior. And when we do that, we then become reckless. We need guilt, shame, and regret to help direct us into making proper decision-making, responsible decision-making, healthy decision-making. So whenever you hear the word that's fat shaming and that's slut shaming, if the word before it is negative, then the concept is broken. Yeah?
Well, what would you say to the people who say, we've had a sexual revolution, Sadia, we don't need, like, girls can sleep with guys as much as they want to. Yeah. This is the new world. Get up to date now. It's 2023. Mm-hmm. Why should it be the case that that is negative, shameful, guilt-riddled behavior?
Because you're the one saying that men are trash, and yet you're sleeping with them all day, every day. It's the women that sleep around the most that will say men are trash. The women in healthy relationships are not usually the ones saying that. So if this formula is working, why are you allowing trash to enter your vagina?
I had an idea. Mm-hmm. I had a theory about the game theory of slut shaming mm-hmm. and the game theory of simp shaming as mm-hmm. well. I want to teach you about.
Okay.
So as far as I can see, more slut shaming comes from women than it does from men, mm-hmm. right? Which might be on the surface surprising, but a bit more inspection, it makes sense.
Yeah.
The reason that more slut shaming comes from women than it does from men mm-hmm. is because women are invested in other women not lowering the price of sex too low.
Yeah.
Men would happily have the price of sex be zero, right? If you are prepared to give blowjobs on the third date, but I want to wait until the fifth date. I'm also a girl.
Yeah.
And I want to wait until the fifth date. It's in my interest to raise the price of sex, right? By shaming.
I had to slip that in. I'm also a girl in this comment because there's a lot of morons out there that will take this the wrong way. Seriously, people lack like common sense in deciphering context.
Anybody who is more sexually promiscuous than I am. So the problem that women are trying to combat is women who give sex without loyalty or resources, right? They want to raise the amount of loyalty and resources that other women use before they will give away sexual access. Now, what I realized, I think is true, men simp shame for the exact same reason in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
So women are concerned about sex without resources. Men are concerned with resources without sex, right? So what a simp is fundamentally doing is saying, I will give away one of the few things that men are supposed to hold in the highest value, which is their ability to provide. And I will give you that in return for nothing.
Yeah.
Right? Or in return for some messages through a platform, or perhaps just financially dominated or sugar babying your way through college or traveling or whatever it is that you want to do. So I feel like the energy is very similar between these two, simp shaming and slut shaming. Both of them are trying to ensure that competitors of the same sex don't give away the most valuable resource, which they don't want to have the price of derogated too low. What do you think?
Absolutely. It's a form of intrasexual selection, which in evolutionary psychology, it just simply means your competition within your sex. Now, the quickest and easiest way for women to kind of beat the competition is verbal aggression. And one of the things that slut shaming does is, firstly, of course, like you mentioned, it reduces the value of sex. So you're competing with people who give it for free. But in addition, by slut shaming, it's our way of unconsciously trying to put other men off that woman. Now, people only slut shame attractive women. You don't see there are many unattractive women who are also sleeping with lots and lots of men. But what happens with women, they only feel the need to shame when the person is a threat in it.
That's a really good point. It's only an issue when you're pretty. So I just saw a TikTok today about a woman that had a baby and her body, she bounced back, obviously through very hard work, dieting and discipline, looked incredible. So this was like one of these fit chicks and she was on baby number 2. You will not believe the comment section is insanely negative, all by women. And there's other women that are commenting there saying, I can't believe what I'm reading. It's only a problem when it's a pretty woman. It's only a problem when the woman threatens you. It's the sisterhood until she makes you feel bad. Like there's women fighting within that comment section. Cannot believe that something as beautiful as a woman bouncing back from her second pregnancy and looking just as good as she did before kids is seen as such a threat to other women. Literally, the insecurities all over the place. Not all women can bounce back like that. You don't understand what it's like to be pregnant for every woman. Every pregnancy is different. You can't make this about you. Bro, such a disgusting comment section. All the men were praising her, going, wow, incredible. I hope my wife is like this, or my wife bounced back just like this. Congrats on the hard work. Incredible. I'm so proud of you. All the men were extremely positive. Dude, not a single man said anything negative. They were just in awe. Wow, that's incredible. A bunch of the women in the comment section, completely ego shot, experience maximum insecurity because they look at themselves and they saw their bodies post-kid. A lot of women use the post-birth, to get lazy, to not try on their appearance anymore, to completely neglect their husbands and only look after the kids. And that struck a nerve when they see other women. You want to go viral today as a woman, have a baby and bounce back. Work your ass off and get a killer body post-baby. And I guarantee your comment section is going to be filled with hate and your video goes viral. I bet you, dude. That's like nothing else can strike a nerve in women than a video like that. A woman doing well after pregnancy and being proud of her body.
Any way, shape, or form. You will not see unattractive women get as many trolls as attractive women online. And
we notice it with all the willies, man, that always make content. They look like they're wearing bed sheets. Their comment section is, you go, queen. Yes, queen. Slay, queen. Wow, incredible. Wish I had your confidence. Slay. You deserve the best. You're at the table. You see a pretty girl walking around doing her thing, monetizing her prettiness, whatever. Pick me, internalized misogyny. No one's gonna pick you, sis. Oh my God, pretty privilege, this and that. It's only when it's a threat. When a woman gives you a compliment as another woman and tells you look beautiful and all this under your comment section or empowers you to keep doing what you're doing, you're not a threat in her eyes. That's the truth.
Will not get unattractive women who sleep around get as many slut-shaming comments as sexually
because they're
attractive.
seen as less of a threat.
They're not a threat.
Let me find that freaking video for you guys. I'm so interested right now. Didn't save it.
So essentially what intrasexual selection does is it makes women use verbal aggression against one another, but only if she's a threat. If she's not a form of threat, we actually turn it into praise, because then it works to actually be friends with women, because you can share breastfeeding, child rearing in evolutionary terms.
Alloparenting.
Yeah, but if she is any form of threat, she can potentially take your partner and take your resources. So whenever women are slut shaming and stuff, they usually focus on the women that they think that their partner would find attractive. So they might not slut shame, let's say for example it's an English match, they might not slut shame the workers in Thailand and stuff like that, but they would slut shame the local OnlyFans girls because it's more of a threat. So essentially we verbally attack those that we see as the biggest threat, and that will reduce the ability of us to secure resources from a man.
Yeah, very interesting. Yeah.
And a sad thing as well, because I get a lot of hate from women, particularly from women, saying that I don't side with women enough. And I always just say, you have no idea what it's like to be around women. Like, well, maybe they do, but for me personally, I've only ever experienced negativity from women, especially in the workplace. So it's hard for me to really be like, women are amazing, women empowerment, women. When I know from my personal experience, we don't support each other at all.
Yeah, it's a ruthless sort of realization. I had Joyce Benenson on, I've had Christina Durante on, I've had Dr. Sarah Hill on, a lot of evolutionary psychology researchers who are looking at intrasexual competition, Candice Blake. And one of the things that Joyce looked at was the body language of female basketball teams. She found that male opponents showed more physical affection to each other than female compatriots. So men on opposite teams of a basketball court
still nicer to each other,
were more like physically affectionate than girls that were on the same team. And I think that there's a lot of stuff going on with hierarchy, how that works. It's the same reason why girls don't talk about their achievements academically if they know that other people are going to find out, because stepping outside of that hierarchy is something that's a little bit dangerous. And that's kind of ruthless, right? Like, it should be the case as a girl that if you succeed and do something well, that you should be able to be proud about it, and you should be able to proclaim it, and other people should say, yeah, fuck, you did good. Well done. And one of the disadvantages, men are ruthless to each other in very specific ways.
Yeah.
But so are women.
Yeah, it was, and the thing is, with men, they would hunt and gather in tribes, so it makes sense for them to have camaraderie and be part of a group. For women, we wouldn't necessarily use each other to go hunt. We would only feel secure once we've secured the person that gives us resources. So that's why married women tend to be, who are happily in relationships, tend to be less verbally hostile to ones that are single. So single women together tend to be more verbally hostile to one another than when those that are happily spoken for, because.
And then that leads to the crabs in a bucket mentality. Like if you're dating a girl and her best friends are single, they always try to drag her down. They're always giving her bad advice, disguised as good advice, because secretly they want her to be single too. It's a threat that you took their friend away and they want to share in the misery. And it's unfortunate, man, because women should be taking advice from women that are married in long-term relationships, multi-decade relationships. Those are the best women. They're not in competition. They can give you real information about what it takes to please your man, keep your man, be in a happy relationship, build something together long-term, and come out winning on the other side. But they never listen to that. You know, they listen to like the Kardashians, they listen to other celebrities, social media, random bozos off of TikTok and short reels and 10-second videos that basically give them the worst advice imaginable for people that are psychologically damaged. Like they're coming out of dating culture, hookup culture, absolutely broken. And these are the people now that have platforms that get viral views for saying the most off-the-wall shit. And people are actually taking this as gospel, man. This is their advice when they go out into the world and they're dating. And they seem to repeat the trauma over and over again, and nobody's learning. Nobody's even cognizant that they're doing it. This is how damaged we've become as a society. People are literally walking around with trauma from childhood, from dating, from whatever it is, personal experiences, and constantly indulging in this vicious circle and never stopping for 1 second. Pause. Why does this keep happening to me? Why is it every man that I've ever met does this to me? Is it my fault? Do I not know how to pick them? Or no, the default society tells me is that men ain't shit. That's all right. Oh yeah, it's all men's fault. The patriarchy is the problem. It's not my issue. It's men. It's always the man, right? So there's never introspection here of fixing the problem. Welcome to the world we have today. This is why I tell you guys, it's not getting better. And who wants to listen to married women are checked out. Married women are not out here interested in giving advice. They're looking after their kids, looking after their husbands. They're happy. If they're browsing social media, they're giggling their asses off seeing what a wasteland dating is and relationships, marriage, etc. today. That's what they're doing. They have no need to get on a podcast and talk about dating and relationships and all this stuff. They're married. They're looking after their kids and their men. You know, and that simple premise of you should take advice from the people you want to mimic most. So if you want to be happy in a relationship, married to a man long-term, have multiple kids, you should probably seek out a woman that's living that exact lifestyle and excelling and get advice from her. Likewise, this works for men too. If you want to listen to a man in regards to dating, marriage, relationships, all that stuff, find a guy that's excelling in those. If you want to find out about women's nature, then probably listen to a dude that slept around a lot and has seen all sides of women, the good and the bad. If you want to learn about marriage and what it takes to make a marriage work as a man leading your family for like 10, 20, 30 years with multiple kids, find a married dude that will give you the best advice on how to work with your woman and how to raise a family and all the things that they've went through, all the pitfalls, all the obstacles, all the problems they've had to solve. And those will be the ones that will give you the best advice. The only advice I give you is what I've experienced and what I've seen and what I've gleaned from my parents and their successful marriages and the successful marriages of other people that I know. I'm seeing that stuff from the outside in and directly through my own upbringing and the success I've had in the dating pool and the pitfalls I've had in the dating pool and all the damage I've racked up, the trauma and all the insight that I've gained. That is why I even speak on this stuff, because I'm in the thick of it in relation to all the stuff we're talking about here. But it's so wild to see women taking advice for women on how to get a man and how you should be married and popping out a bunch of kids for said high value male, but they've never been around a high value male. They've never even secured a man longer than a few months. If anything, all they've been were pump and dumps their whole life. But these women are giving advice as if they're those women that have been chosen with a ring. It's mind blowing. Nobody sees this hypocrisy, man. Crazy.
because they're no longer in that competition zone. So unfortunately, the reality of a female and female empowerment, it only works if you're not threatened by each other. The moment there's a form of threat, they become very hostile and very aggressive. And so it's very difficult to have a platform where you're trying to just educate people about human nature as a woman, because you'll get very much a lot of hatred from other women. So it's not the easiest.
What are your qualifications?
I'm a psychologist. So what I did is I did a psychology degree, then I followed by master's, then I actually just went into teaching. So went into teaching, but then I did psychodynamic diploma. So
okay, is psychologist not like a protected term? Do you not need to have a doctorate or something for that?
You do if you're a research psychologist, and if you're going to go into like clinical psychology.
Okay.
Yeah. So I haven't done a doctorate. I would like to, but it takes a long time.
Got you.
Yeah.
There you go. That was another good section. I'm really liking these, man. Thank you for whoever recommended these, because picking out portions of these to chirp on is really nice. It's just much more mentally stimulating than hearing some young 20-year-old completely lost in outer space, fans chick yelling on a podcast, and then dudes yelling back, and then they're having the most baseline reptilian conversation about topics that you only need to hear about once, and then you got it, and moving on. A little more nuance is always nice, so appreciate you guys recommending these, and let me know if you do like them too. I know some guys just love to watch women get dunked on, but some of these more nuanced takes are very interesting, to me especially. Let me know if you guys like them. And appreciate everybody who's been supporting the channel by getting shirts. It helps a ton. We try not to rely on AdSense too much, because you already know. Shout outs to those in the private community. Excited to get some videos going on the second channel about working out, fitness, and other topics on self-improvement, masculinity in general. Got to travel back to the toxic land first. We're headed to Atlanta, boys. By the time you see this video, I'm either already in Atlanta or on the plane too, visiting family for the holidays. So wish you guys the best if you don't see me for a few days. Hopefully you have a good weekend, a good week whenever this comes out, and a great holiday lined up, surrounded by family or friends you trust if you don't have family. We'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.